Hello, everyone. Welcome to the EFT MBA program. I don't know what happened to our little audio there. So I'm Alina Frank, and I'm here with my partner and EFT tapping trainer,
Dr. Craig Weiner. Hi,
yes.
everybody. Thanks for joining us again. It's a gorgeous day here outside of Seattle. We're glad to be on the show with you.
It's really great to be here, and we have something to cover today, which is the bane of existence of many EFT coaches, or anyone who's really in business for themselves. Well, being productive, and not being productive, and procrastinating.
Oh, I hate that word.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all out. I mean, I hear the biggest complaint is I'm working too hard, not working enough. And, you know, we're all putting in lots of energy and lots of hours and producing and trying to get the great results and, you know, to the point of working too hard. And then when we really start to look at how much time we're spending on our real focus, I think that if somebody really had a video camera and somebody was really recording the keystrokes of what they were doing in a day, they would find a little bit of fluff that might be able to be reduced or eliminated to make them be more effective with their time, don't you think?
Yeah. I do think that many people do not use their time effectively, and they get lost, and with so many things to do, they just can't do it. They don't do it. They can't do it. But like you said, I think what happens is a lot of procrastination, which is always about fear, and resistance to doing the things that we need to be doing in order to grow our business.
Okay. So from an EFT tapping perspective, we are going to go through our Craig and Lena's top 10 productivity tips.
Yeah.
Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where do you want to start? Why don't you start with number one?
Okay, so number one is to get focused. Get focused. So you have an endless source of incoming information, things that you have to do. Streamlined focus is really the number one distraction detractor. And so why don't you say something about this, Craig?
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of things about getting focused, right? So in other words, you know, I'll speak from experience. When I'm working, I can sit there for hours. I can stay focused. I'm on my computer. I'm working on projects. I'm working on, you know, everything's important that I'm doing, right? So I'm not sitting there going, okay, this isn't going to contribute. This isn't going to help. But real focus is like a bigger F focus is what I'm talking about. Like if you step back and you look at your business and you take a look at what am I trying to drive, what's the vision of what I'm trying to create here, and I start to look at it through those bigger eyes, then there are activities and arenas that I'm going to work on and ones that I'm not. So the biggest one that we obviously talk about a lot, especially for your EFT practice, is your niche. In other words, if my niche is just working on people with migraines, for example, I could still spend all day long researching and learning about lifestyle and things to tap on and issues regarding migraines. I could fill my whole day with it.
Yeah.
But I would be focused on things that would be producing how do I get in touch, how do I best write about, how do I best reach my clients that are involved with migraines and suffering from them. So by not having a niche in my EFT practice, I'm on anything that has to do with stress and anything that has to do with tapping and anything that has to do with energy and anything that has to do with health and anything. And I could fill my whole day researching, reading blogs, finding information, Googling it, and not really get much done.
Yeah.
So the first way to get focused is by having that niche and focus for your practice. And the second aspect of that is really having that bigger vision of like creating a mission statement. What am I trying to achieve by putting all this time and energy? How am I going to impact the world? What is my personal mission to be able to achieve and be a part of the co-creation of having happen as a result of all my attention and energy and efforts, etc. So that micro focus of the niche and the bigger focus of why am I doing this are really important to stay focused, to look at the tasks that you're doing and seeing if they match that. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I see a tremendous amount of spinning wheels out there. And so if you have a mission statement, if you have a very clear targeted audience and niche, you are going to definitely be more focused. So number 2, have a plan. And what we mean by this is especially having a straight shot marketing plan. So you have a marketing funnel, you have different pieces that you're doing, a strategy, and a set amount of time that you're focusing on each one of those things that are funneling traffic back to your website, including all kinds of things. But yes, I don't want to get too much into this because we could spend a whole show on marketing plans. But if you have a marketing plan, you know what to do, you have your chart there, you say today I'm doing X, tomorrow I'm doing Y, and you start to see that you're being more productive and that your product, it's not about just being productive, it's about seeing that your productivity is equaling results.
It is. Okay. I was on just this morning, it's a perfect example. I saw somebody on a online group, and they were saying for their EFT practice, should I have a Facebook page or should I have a website?
Yeah.
And it was a good question to help them get clarity. But without a bigger plan, why even bother having social media for your business if it's not driving traffic somewhere for people to find out about your business?
No kidding.
Your Facebook page doesn't have your hours, your services, your products, your niche, what you're good at, who you are, any of those things.
Yeah, no, it definitely, it actually could have all of those things, but you are certainly at a disadvantage if that's all you're creating out there. It's like going to be like trying to push a boulder up a hill in terms of trying to get people to convert to being your client. It's part of your marketing plan, believe me. Social media is a great thing. We talk a lot about it at the EFT MBA program. It's certainly not the only thing. And instead of wasting a lot of time, you've got to be you got to know what you're doing, or else social media especially is a huge time suck.
Absolutely agreed. So that's what I just mean as far as having a prioritization of your marketing plan, of like where are things feeding to what and why, and what does that funnel look like to be able to have it streamlined and efficient.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Number 3, get some help.
Yeah, no kidding.
Get help. You don't know it. You don't know it all. I don't know it all. None of us know everything about marketing and web stuff and tech stuff and and the legal aspects of your practice and so many different aspects that you need to pull in help. And I tell you, when you get assistance, whether it's from a new accountant or a new graphics person or a new whatever, it's amazing how much freedom it offers and lightening of the load to have help of people that are good at what they do. Just like when people bring in an EFT practitioner and you're good at what you do and they're like, oh my God, I've been suffering with this for years and it was that easy. You have the same thing with bringing in the right help with the right virtual assistant or using, great websites that can help you like Fiverr or other places where you can find assistance with things that you're not good at.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. I think that we get caught up in fearing that the cost is too much, but if you know where to look, you certainly can do it very, very inexpensively. And also, I just want to say that getting help also means business coaching and tapping. At the MBA program, if we didn't have tapping, we'd just be totally overwhelming our students. But it's part of the deal is that you look at this stuff and recognize that your fears and your resistance and your blocks are preventing you from succeeding in your business. And so, what do you need to do and how to get through it? All of you that are listening to this program are familiar with tapping. So tap and find someone that's going to help you.
And isn't it funny is how much we need to be modeling for our own clients. We're telling our clients when you hit resistance in a wall, self-tap, and if that doesn't help, get help from somebody else. And if we're not doing that ourselves, then, wow, why would they even listen to us?
Yeah.
Right? So we've got to model the behavior that we want our clients to be doing as well.
Yeah,
okay.
No kidding.
Next, number 4. Have a schedule each day that works for you and that you can keep to.
Yeah.
How does that work for you, Alina? What kind of schedule works for you? What do you want to say about that?
What works for me is only seeing clients 3.5 days a week. What works for me is to have Tuesday evenings where I see evening clients. What works for me is that Friday mornings until noon, I see clients, and I like to have Friday afternoons free. I like to have most of Tuesday off. I think that what works for each person is individual, and if you spend some time crafting that and seeing what's right for you, I know lots of practitioners that like to space their sessions apart, quite a big amount of time between sessions. And if I did that, I'd go crazy. I really love the energy of having back-to-back clients, and then I'm done. So it really is what's going to work best for you. But if you don't have a schedule and you don't have a set time, business hours versus non-business hours, and what you're doing behind the scenes, like your back office stuff, if you don't have a plan for that and a schedule for that, you're going to feel like you're working all the time. And not only that, your clients will assume that you're available all the time. And really, you have to take care of yourself, especially as you get busier and busier.
Excellent.
Okay.
That was perfect.
Okay.
Number 5, this is so important. How do we minimize distractions? What are different ways? Because, well, it was funny. I just posted the show this morning, and I was watching some people go, my distractions, my daughters. My distractions, going to the store and getting caught up reading every label. My distractions, trying to figure out what to make my kids that are healthy not to. And she just listed on and on these distractions. And part of those are just life, right? Taking care of family and children is not a distraction. That's life. But what we mean by distractions is, for example, this one I've really been doing much better at, is what I notice is that when my computer's on in the background, that when my emails come in and they make that blipping sound, there is a part of me that has to go look. What just came in? It might be something really important. And it's not that second of seeing whether it's important is a big time sucker, but it takes your attention away from being in the present of what you're doing. It distracts you from it. It pulls you away. It takes you in another arena, and it takes time to get back the focus that you may have achieved before that. So a simple, easy tip when you're working around your computer is turn the volume off so that you don't hear some social media posting and you don't hear an email coming in. And those distractions really are a small thing, but they add up to a big thing.
Yeah. If you find,
go ahead.
I would also say that there are some, if you really are having a hard time, like unplugging from Facebook or unplugging from your email and all of that kind of stuff, there are inexpensive programs that are out there that are, sort of like distraction zappers, where it will give you a certain amount of time per hour on these distractions on your computer, and then it will automatically shut it off. But I would say that even before you try that, tap on it. What's the problem? Why are you getting distracted? Why are you feeling the need to connect so much? And there's a reason for that. Just like sugar cravings are a distraction, drinking too much is a distraction. Find out what's driving you to those distractions and tap on it.
Good.
Okay.
I'm going to take this actually to number 8 because I think it's a better segue. I'm going to go over what's called the 2-minute rule. Mm-hmm. So in other words, let's just say that something comes in, an email, and you could see, oh, that's actually important, right? And I need to handle this thing. It has some relevance to what I'm doing right now. It's not a total out of left field. Well, the 2-minute rule is this. In the moment that something comes to you, let's just say like an email that you need to take some action on, If it takes less than 2 minutes to do, let's say you're working on a project and this thing comes in and pops up on you, and it takes less than 2 minutes to do, and it's important, go ahead and do it. But if it's going to take more than 2 minutes to complete that task, schedule it for later. Whether it's at your next break, whether it's after lunch, schedule it. So what often will happen is we'll be working on a project, a writing or whatever it is that we're doing. We're in a communication, we're working on our book, we're working on a project, whatever it is. And it takes that amount of focus, maybe a few hours to do, and these distractions keep pulling us away. So if you can handle it, boom, within 1 to 2 minutes, handle it, done, get back on track, that's great. But if it's going to take more than 2 minutes, schedule it for after at another time. And that's a good rule of thumb to use. Okay. Next, let's go to, all right, figuring out what task. This is all about procrastination now, and Alina mentioned procrastination is always about fear. Figure out the task that you're putting off and tap on it. One of the favorite phrases that Alina uses that I like is eat the frog first. What do you mean by that, Alina?
I mean that it's a frog, unless you're, I've said this before, unless you're French or French Canadian and enjoy frog legs, you're typically not, it's not a very appealing thing to eat frogs. And so when you consider the things in your business that you know that you need to do, but that you feel some resistance to, then it is better to get those things off the plate and done first thing in the morning. So you sit there and you look at that task and you tap on what it is that you're afraid of, what it is that's distasteful, what is it bringing up for you, and tap on that so that you can get it done and out of the way. You'll have a much more pleasant day and you'll feel very productive. Okay.
Excellent. And you know what? I love that energy that I get when I've gotten that thing done early and quick. It's just it's almost like, oh my God, I've done the hardest stuff already, and the rest of it is like downhill. And there's so much satisfaction and so much energy that I get when I do that it's really worth trying if it's not something you don't already do.
Yes.
Okay.
What's next? Find a creative break. What does that mean?
Okay. Well, when we're doing work, usually it's a lot of left brain linear work. We're writing emails, we're writing, we're using linear, we're using verbal, we're seeing clients, and we're not often doing a very good job at balancing both breaks and our right and left hemispheres. So take some right brain breaks. Number one is it needs to be nurturing in some way, right? It needs to have a feeling of upliftment. So one of them might be simply closing your eyes and just taking a break visually from all the stimulation, taking some nice deep breaths, meditating for 5 minutes, something that just stops the wheel, that gerbil wheel from going. So just stop. That's a good start. Next is, what are those things that enhance life? What are those things that make your heart sing? Well, maybe just rocking out on some music for a few minutes. Maybe just stepping outside the door and getting outside when you've been in four walls for too long. Maybe it's about stopping and reading a piece of poetry. Maybe something that's going to help bring you upliftment, something that's going to stop the intense go, something that's going to bring a smile to your face. What we know is that breaks actually make you more efficient when you use them well. Micro breaks, mini breaks, small breaks. They don't have to be half-hour breaks that make your day less efficient. Actually, by taking those small breaks, they'll actually increase your productivity and efficiency. What's a favorite break for you? What's something that you like to do to just step away and just say stop for a minute, Alina?
Well, on a day like today, I would walk outside and I would sit on my bench just outside my office, even if it's just for a minute, and have the sun beating down on my face, and that is really all that I need sometimes.
Perfect. So we need to either schedule them or for example, maybe use a timer, and there's different apps that we can do this, that perhaps every 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever that is for you, depending on whether you're working with your clients or you're working, back office stuff, that you only stay there for so long before you at least take a small micro break.
Mm-hmm.
You know, start by going to the bathroom, start by getting a glass of water, start by something to just get you out of that chair.
Right.
And, you know, as a chiropractor, I'm going to be a big proponent of get out of the chair, go sit on your gym ball, go do some yoga stretches, go do something to just also give your back and spine a break as well.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go next. Number 9.
Okay.
Number 9, the rule of 3 outcomes. Okay.
What does that mean?
We all have our yeah, well, what I didn't say was the rule of 3 to-dos. Okay, so we all, at least I think most people, and I certainly know that I do, I have an ongoing steno pad of my to-dos, of things that if I don't write them down, I'll forget them, and then I'll have to get back to them, and then they'll become something that I forgot, and then they become more work, or I miss the deadline. So I continually keep a to-do list. Yes, she might, especially if it had to do with her. So that... Absolutely. If not mad, maybe annoyed. Anyway, so we all know to-do lists. But what if we took the time each morning to say, you know what I want to focus on for a minute here are what are 3 outcomes that I want to have happen as the result of all my to-dos that I'm doing? What's the 3 results? By the end of the day, I want to have created 1 new client. By the end of the day, an outcome is that article, first draft, is finished. By the end of today, I'll have posted something on the website that I needed to have done this week, but I want to make sure that outcome is created by the end of today. So whatever those are, and it doesn't matter, that you look at the outcomes, not how you're going to get there as much, because those are going to be like your little breakdowns on your to-do list of what you're going to do to get there. But these are the outcomes or the final results that give you the sense of satisfaction. So you're seeing the bigger picture, and I would even say that you actually let yourself feel for a moment what it's going to feel like when that's done. That's going to give you that emotional satisfaction in the moment and tie you to that outcome and make that even juicier to get to.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Number 10.
One more?
What's number 10?
Number 10 is find one activity that gives you energy and schedule it.
Like what?
Like anything.
like
for some people, it's running. Yeah.
Right. It might be your exercise for some people, getting their exercise in really energizes them. For other people, not as much. So make sure that you have scheduled in those things that you look forward to that give you energy, because much work takes energy. I mean, it's not saying that we don't love what we do, but it does require a lot of focus and attention and energy. So, make sure and schedule that time with your loved one. Make sure that doesn't get dropped off. Make sure that you schedule, for me, and I would say for us, is that I love a Sunday that has nothing scheduled on it. Right? That actually scheduling spaciousness of nothingness, like no to-dos on Sunday means being able to sleep in and rest in and maybe read or watch a movie and go for a walk and go drive. So scheduling those things that renew, that give you energy is as important, if not more, than scheduling the meetings and the clients and all of those other things that we schedule like they're most important, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So we really hope that this has been helpful to you, because I really do see that the EFT coaches that we work with, they really do have a somewhat difficult time, and I don't think it's exclusive to EFT coaches. I think like I said, most people that have their own businesses will feel like they could be more productive. And especially at the beginning of when you're maybe transitioning from your other job into full-time EFT practice, or if you are transitioning out of being a full-time stay-at-home mother, that sort of thing. If you don't have these tips and you sort of free float, then you really free fall. And then you wake up one day 6 months later and say, what happened? Like someone I know that decided that they were going to take a break from work in order to get their business going, and they had 2 weeks left of a 3-month gap, and they realized they had just squandered away all of that time. So I hope that you really like these tips. We will be we'll put them out in an article as well, because I think this is a really good list.
They are. And one thing I like that we're doing now is being really efficient. I noticed recently that in listening to some of the recent telesummits, that many of them went 45 minutes to an hour, and I found myself repeatedly only being able to listen to about the first half hour.
Yeah.
So we have really made a commitment on the radio show to keep it under 30 minutes so that you can actually listen to it and know that from beginning to end and get all the information and know that you won't be feeling guilty for missing the second half hour of the show. So we're going to end right on time. Just want to put a quick reminder that we will be starting up May 1st and starting to accept applications now for the next EFT Mastering Business Acumen 6-month training program, which is just amazing. We just go over so much information and provide coaching and mentoring.
I'm actually calling it EFT MBA 2.0.
MBA 2.0?
Yeah.
Great.
Because the EFT MBA 2.0, because every time that I've been teaching this material for the last 4 years, and it really is, we really strive for excellence and refining it. I am so very proud of this first group that just went through the EFT MBA program. They've just excelled in every part of their business, and it's just been wonderful to watch and support them. And so we just asked, okay, so how can we even get better? And some of the things that they had written, which I haven't shared with you, Craig, just fine-tuning, we actually had already talked about it, so it's already in the works. So improving, here goes the EFT MBA 2.0 program, and it's going to start May, the first week of May. So go ahead and go to our website, download the application, schedule a business coaching, laser coaching session with us. And we know that we can improve your business, your productivity, your sales, your client retention, all of those things, help you with some of the scarier things about online marketing, and hold your hand and support you along the way.
Great. And I was just going to mention our next show is going to be focusing on how to have rockin' EFT newsletters, so how to really be most productive and efficient and effective with your newsletter. And, of course, to listen to archive shows, just go to EFTtappingtraining.com, and you'll find all our archived shows there for free. And it's just wonderful to be of service to you guys. So we want to say thank you. Thanks for joining us today. And don't forget to keep on tapping. Thanks for joining us today.
You have been listening to EFT MBA with Alina Frank and Dr. Craig Weiner. To get your free report on the 5 secrets to create a rockin' EFT practice and to learn more about the EFT MBA program, visit www.EFTMBA.com.